Now we're recording. Episode 600 of Morez Python Radio, and I'm sorry, I don't know what episode you guys are.
It doesn't matter.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Hold on.
Listen, spin-off shows don't need to count. Like, it's fine.
Ouch! A spin-off show?
I think we should combine our number.
Yeah.
800.
800.
Together we form a.
Oh yeah, 164.
But a single twig. Together we form a mighty.
Tomorrow will be 165.
All right.
Okay. That's awesome.
There you go. All right. So,
yeah. So you have them numbered. I didn't have them numbered. Okay.
Yeah, I have a number.
He keeps tracks of.
Cool.
Like,
They don't call me the
everything.
Podfather for nothing.
I didn't want to say our number because it was so much less than 600.
Yeah, well, we started back in 2001, so I mean, you know.
Wow.
Many moons ago when I didn't have.
2001.
Rob's like, wait a minute.
That's not how that works.
Proto podcast.
We didn't even have the internet back then.
All we did was yell at the window at each other. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like,
What a time to be alive. Yeah, so episode 600, Rob had contacted me, and I was like, hey, I had this idea. Maybe we could just do a joint episode and hang out with you guys. Maybe talk about herping carpets and whatever else comes up. I don't know. I thought it would be a good topic since we all love to herp and we all love carpet pythons, and
Oh yeah.
two of us can tell, I don't know, maybe we can reptile fight club it out or something. The reptile
Rob-
love club it out. I don't know, whatever you guys are doing anymore.
Rob did show up at my house and hit me with a dueling glove, which I've never been hit by no dueling glove before. But, apparently that's how this episode starts, I guess. I don't know. So
I did like the episode you guys did with Billy. I thought that was really good.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah. Billy's always great. He
yeah,
does a really good
that was
job.
a really good episode.
Yeah.
I like the book. I got you a copy, Rob, of the book. So
Oh,
next time I
cool.
see you, I'll give it to you. The
what book is this?
Immense World. No, the one that Billy
I think
talked
that's
about.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Maybe it's An Immense World.
An Immense World. Yeah.
Mhm.
Basically, it talks about the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. An Immense World by Ed Young. It's just about like how animals perceive the world and how it's so different than how we perceive the world. It's a really good book.
I love how I get a new book and then I'm like, look, Eric, it's like this is a book on the reptiles of the Murray Darling. He's like, that's 5 years old. I've had it back there this whole time. I'm like, okay. Like, it's just,
He was so excited.
I'm like, all right, I'll put this down.
Murray Darling. Look.
Did you get this one? The
No.
Phil guy. It's pretty cool. I mean, I love anything to do with the
A field guide. I love a good field guide.
There's no,
Like, it's-
no range maps. It just kind of describes where they're at. So that was a little, like, how do you make a field guide with no range?
Tip one of herping for carpets. Get a field
Range
guide that has
map.
a map.
Yeah, maps.
I mean, I
Always
get
maps.
it. You probably
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need
yeah.
them, maybe just to ID them
Right.
stuff. So, yeah, but it's Chris Williams, Rex Neindorf, and Brian Bush. So
Oh, okay. Cool.
we
Rule
got
number
to see
2.
Rex in Alice Springs. He's a cool guy. I like Rex.
Yeah. And
Rule number
Bush
2 is
and-
know what the hell you're looking at too, because there's a lot of stuff you shouldn't touch. So yeah, rule number 2.
Yeah. Bob Ashley shared a picture of him and Brian Bush from a couple months ago hanging out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a character.
He's like the classic Australian. Like
Right.
at least what I think of when I think of an Australian, it's him.
Yeah.
Just living out in the outback with some car that he put together, and like
Yeah, having his short shorts and nothing
yeah,
else and boots.
yeah,
And his
It's
hat.
the only
cool.
way.
very nice.
Yeah, good stuff.
So, yeah, okay. So I don't know how you guys been.
Better, but I can't complain to you. I mean, I have a little bit of a man cold right now. I'm not on death's door or anything, but
He's always
It's
right
under
there.
Uh,
but
I've been pretty
opportunity,
good. Knock on wood. I've been pretty
That's
good.
good. That's good.
Wasn't like
I've
last
only
year
had-
where he had like 5 canceled shows by now.
Dude, it was brutal. Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. Whew.
I was there.
Yeah. I wasn't.
Oh yes, that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Rob? How you been?
Good. Yeah, all good, man.
Okay.
Excited for the Fight Club stuff that we've done recently and planned it out. I think we got 6 or 7 weeks of guests planned in a row coming off of this.
I heard you guys talking about that, and you keep saying that, and I'm like, what the hell do they mean? I keep meaning to ask you that, like, like you just planned out for the whole quarter or something like that.
Yeah, just talking to folks and trying to put dates on it and get it pre-signed up and get out of that space of we got a show in 2 days or today or whatever it is. And, I think the product's still been good, but my hope is that, we can have it be that much better if, we're kind of pre-planning and are taking that approach to it. So I'm really excited we got, as I said, I think 6 or 7 more planned out consecutively and then a handful more subsequent to that. And we got our own trips and things going and all that. So it should be good.
Nice.
We just talked with Andy Holycross of Snakes of Arizona fame last weekend about New Mexico ridge-nosed rattlesnakes and how to find them and different tips, tricks, ideations. Talked about how they translocated some from the Sierra San Luis in Mexico up to the Palencios. That was interesting. So a ton there. He's been on different shows, but kind of not necessarily things that people would see, and certainly not for 2 hours or so that we talked to him, Justin. So I think we went to a greater depth and treatment. And a big part of that was, maybe with one exception, I think we were the only folks who'd actually been down to the Palencios and really experienced that habitat who were engaging him in the conversation, which just makes it, as you guys know, at 599 plus this one, that it's that much easier if you can. The questions hopefully are that much better and more interesting if you actually can relate to the topic and kind of interject your own experience or your questions that you have from the field and things. So hopefully good.
That fell under our grilling the expert. And I think we did grill him a little bit, gave him some kind of hard hitting questions. Hopefully we got, and I think he was very, willing to share some really great information. So should be hopefully a worthwhile show for listeners, but it was really fun.
Cool.
Good stuff.
The 2 nicest guys in herpetoculture are doing reptile
fighting. It's not. It's not. I don't. Yeah.
And man,
I enjoy your grilling the expert. What was the one, Rob? You told me to listen to. Was it Matt? Who was the one?
Bob Zapolordi?
Yeah, that's it.
Matt Cage.
Yep. Matt Cage. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
and Bob too. You told me that one too. They were both really good. I've sort of binged it. I don't know, the past couple weeks. I've been catching up because I've been so behind on podcasts and reptile podcasts of stuff. But
kudos to Rob, man. Yeah, Rob's getting so many good guests. So it is hard to kind of figure out what to listen to because there's a lot of options these days. Not quite like it was 26 years ago when you guys started.
599 episodes ago.
We were the only option. You had to listen to us. It was
easy to say.
It was easy
just chomping at the bit. When's the next one coming out?
When we didn't make a show on Tuesday, the riots began. It was terrible.
It's so hard for me to relate to that, but man, I remember in the reptile radio days, it was like I couldn't wait for and they talked about ball pythons, and I could care 2 shits less about ball pythons, but just somebody talking reptiles, I was like, oh yeah, wow. Yeah.
Now we turn up our noses, and
now it's like
these are not the ones I wish to those.
On that, or by that note, there was a really interesting Snake Talk podcast where he was talking to Samuel Kerwin, who's I think going from a graduate to a PhD at Northern Colorado at Steve Mackessy's lab, but it was around his master's work. And it was about essentially the biological process by which particularly vipers maintain their venom in a more acidic environment than is optimal so that it doesn't negatively impact them, essentially for sequestration and their own safety. So that then the ideal pH that it goes into just happens to be sort of the mammal pH, but they maintain it at like 5.5 within their venom stacks, where it's not going to then, because that is an interesting question, right? It's like, how can they safely sequester this to then have it readily available? And so it sounded super fascinating. One of those Steve Mackesy was actually on the same show maybe 18 months ago, and that was similarly really informative and really good. Kind of interesting content for sure. I recommend folks check out.
That is cool, and that's something I never thought of. Like, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Why? How do they sequester the venom in their bodies? Like, yeah. Huh? Like, I didn't think about that.
You guys
Especially something that destroys tissue, right?
Exactly. Like, how does that work? It's like,
right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you hear the herping Kakadu and searching for the Kakadu rock monitor episode by Chris Applin?
So I got to check it out, unfortunately. And this goes back to one of my principal pet peeves that Eric can attest to, is that, podcasts are supposed to be an audio medium. But all these shows that then lean in heavy into the visuals, which is awesome, but I just don't have the same sort of available time and things to listen and watch, right? So I end up just putting them on the back burner and then not getting to it. So yes, it sounded absolutely completely up my alley. Couldn't be more interested, but I just haven't made the time for it. Is it good?
Yeah, it was great. And I think the guy who was on there, Finn, what's his last name? Finn Hall. He was one of the guys we ran into in Alice area, like out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Cool.
It was pretty funny. But yeah, we were herping and we'd see cars. You always kind of slow down if there's another car driving slow through the middle of the desert in the middle of the night.
What you doing?
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys from like Victoria or something, and they all converged there, and there were two carfuls of them, probably like 12 guys, and then we ended up staying at the place over by one of the resort spots, and they were there, and we were hanging out in the pool and swapping herp stories and stuff. It was really cool. But yeah, he's found a lot of good stuff. But yeah, so
cool. And to skip to the end, so he did turn up the NT glowered eye at Kakadu.
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Yeah. He
got some killer pictures. I think they found it at night.
At night?
Really?
What time of year was it?
It was, I think, during, hot time.
Hot time.
So,
okay.
Interesting. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. So his pictures like have a black background thing hanging off the rock and stuff. It's really neat. But yeah, those are cool. So I'm sure there'll be a new species soon. You saw Gavin's paper on the Fifey eye, and that's kind of crazy, but what a small little range that thing has,
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's so weird that stuff's still getting like described and split.
Right.
Other stuff is being compacted together into a small cube. And that is,
taxonomy. You got to work.
The taxonomy. It's like, no, everything. And then all the other people, I can't, man. It's constantly.
Yeah. I've had a nice little conversation with Damien Esquire, the one who did the Antaresia genus. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I did invite him to come on to the podcast, and he said he would be willing to come on and kind of
cool.
We could grill him about taxonomy. But that's, I guess the problem is I know enough to kind of be a little bit dangerous, but not enough to really hang with a true
taxonomist. Yeah.
So complex with everything and all the new tools available. And I don't know if, necessarily the field has such a great handle. When you advance so quickly, sometimes it's hard to keep up, and, species concepts change and things like that. I mean, I still see people referring to like, oh, if they can breed together and produce, fertile offspring that are the same species. I'm like, that went away a long time ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't hold anymore,
Yeah.
Is it
especially in reptile, like
right.
That's still, I think it still holds somewhat true in like mammalia, but like
sure.
Yeah, not in rep. Yeah, no, that's gone.
Yeah. And I mean there's lots of examples of birds that you can distinguish them by their calls, or frogs or things like that. And granted there's some geckos that look identical but that are very deeply divergent in different species. So it is hard to say just by looking at something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what do I have to cross to a cassowary to make it a flighted bird? Like, what do we have to go to make it so it can fly? Like that'd just add the level.
And Andean condor.
There you go. All right, I'm on it. Like I'll figure it out.
Harpy eagle.
Eagle. There it is.
Yeah, that'll get a
claws longer. Like yes.
You'll just make a velociraptor.
Pretty much. That's the
gentlemen. It's gone horrible. Like
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Do you want to? We don't even have to talk about that. We can talk about whatever we want. I don't give a. I don't
No,
care.
We're talking about herping and carpet
yeah.
pythons. Like,
Yeah.
this is shit we should know how to
better
do.
than that.
I want to say up front again, like I still hear of some confusion, like what is a carpet python, or if Brettles are a carpet python, and
I heard that the other day.
yeah. Like I would say anything that's not Morelia viridis or Morelia azurea or Morelia carinata is a carpet python within Morelia. I think that kind of covers it. But yeah, in Imbricata, the southwestern carpet pythons. I mean, they call them southwestern carpet pythons.
It's in the name. It's right
Brettles,
there.
Centralian carpet pythons. Like that's how I always referred to them back in the day. So I think people just maybe misinterpreted, like, oh no, only Spilota is carpet. But that's not true. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Like, what are we talking about when we say herping for carpets? I would say, Morelia imbricata, Spilota, and Bretteli are the three species we're referring to.
Agreed. Yes.
I could be okay with that. Yeah.
Okay. We're all in agreement.
All right.
All right.
I'll be all right with that.
We can proceed.
We can now move
I'll
forward.
allow it.
Yeah.
If you didn't agree to my terms, I was gonna take my toys and leave. Go home.
Just shut down the camera.
I think
I'm out.
I think for the people, the listeners, that probably the biggest question I get is, it's a pain in the ass to get there. That's somewhat true, I guess.
It is on the other side of the planet. Yes.
Yep.
I likened it to having a baby, and I kind of was met with skepticism.
Oh, boy. Let's start the controversy on episode 600. Like,
yeah.
Not really.
Not so much. But I mean, it is a painful flight, but you forget about it and just remember the great herping you did, So.
Yeah. I think for me, on the way there, I'm so excited because you're going.
Right.
And on the way back, I'm so tired.
I want to get home. I want to go home. Yeah.
Right.
There's like that threshold of time that you're away from your family. And it's like, there's like a certain day you're like, okay, I've had enough. Like,
I'm ready to
these,
get
to a certain
my first trip was a good 3 weeks, and it was like, okay, I need to get back home, or Well,
that could be a good topic. And maybe you can hit that, Rob, since you're the one that usually is planning this stuff. But like, some people will say 2 weeks. We typically do 10 days, I guess it is, right? Basically.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I guess the thing that I've seen, my lived experience with maybe Florida as a singular exception, certainly was the only time I ever had any questions on it, was all the trips I've ever gone on have felt like the perfect length of time, which means I think that I'm moderating what I'm doing and how hard I'm going and things to accommodate the length of time that we have. So that if it's when Owen and I had gone down to Tampa, it was like we were only there, 3 days, and we were going basically the whole time. And, we turned it up and that was good, But even if we had
turned it up an hour before we had to go, like it was
still good, buddy.
Still counts.
And also, it wasn't good. Like it was not in the best of shape. Like,
it was alive.
The thing with that is I actually think it's super cool because that is a representation of the cyclical annual cyclical struggle of that form and what they have to go through and endure, because there's no fresh water where they live. So it's all a function of getting that dew and all those things. So when you're in the early part of the year, February, it's been a while. Depending on the conditions, it can have been a while. So to me, while that's true, right? We all imagine and picture in our mind's eye the, big, robust, beautiful exemplar specimen. But I think there's actually, also some not only utility, but it's really cool to see things that are actually like fully displaying their capacity to survive and live in those environments. So while I agree, and it's easy for folks on Instagram to say the first Atrox that we ever found, everyone said, wow, that's the darkest, ugliest Atrox I've ever seen. All these veterans of, Texas and whatever, Texas and Arizona and those sorts of things. Well, to me, it was beautiful.
Yes.
You know, in the same way that Eastern Diamondback, yes, I agree, it was not in exemplary condition. You know, I've seen a few more since then, and none of them have looked like that.
I've seen bigger and better.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, but I don't know about the better part. Bigger, yes.
Bigger,
yes.
Condition, more robust, sure. but better, no.
I don't know, because that one really tells the narrative story of its role, its, you know, how it survives within that particular environment. Yeah. Whereas the other ones that I saw were, you know, in sort of prototype habitat in Central Florida and things, and just don't have to deal with what that does.
And the presence of a true MPR host does bolster the point total up by at least 10. So either myself or Eric is there, it does climb up the ladder a little bit. Yeah.
That's guess certainly true.
Thank you.
And that's certainly absolutely true. Hold on, bear with me one second, Eric.
Okay.
You know. Yes, I totally will accept that on.
Thank you. I'm writing it down. It's a rule.
I also would say, just as a first one, especially after Eric and I, you know, along with Phil and Nipper, had tried so hard to no success, right? Save the one that got hit immediately in front of us, and then we saw it synaptically writhing, and that was really the singular bummer of that trip. You know, just the idea of, I think that was 4 or 5 months later, to be able to turn that story around was a big part of it for me as well.
Right.
Rob, you're usually good with flushing out my thoughts, but like, as you're saying that, I'm thinking like, you know, not that, oh, when you were saying it was bad, you were saying that like it looked bad, right? But like, I guess my question is what if that's the normal look? I guess that's what you're trying to say, right, Rob? Is like, that could be the normal look of what it looks like in that area at that time of year. Yeah. So in our minds, we're saying it's not healthy, but is it?
It's like a bear coming out of hibernation. It's like,
yeah, I know.
I made my way. I lived. Like it's not great. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It needs a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. But I guess what I'm saying is, it's just the natural way that it goes. We're sort of set. Like, I think at least when you guys are saying that, my immediate thought in my mind is like, you know, like what we're looking at in captivity is what we're relating to looking good or not good. And as we've seen with multiple people, I mean, you know, I always think of Matt Somerville and that brown snake that he had.
Ingram's,
yeah, you know, and just like, I don't know. Just, I think this is a good way to sort of put a pin in the idea that herping is really going to give you a different perspective of what the animal that you keep. It's just going to change the way you think about it.
I mean,
in fact, to plug it, we had a reptile fight club where Justin and I talked about this. Do you model hard times? You can check it out in the archive.
Yes. It's a good one.
I mean, and also like captivity is cushy. Like it's very, they don't have to do, there's a reason the lions at the zoo have a little bit of fat on them. Okay. Like, cause they don't miss 5 times out of 10 and they don't have to like wrestle a horse to the ground. Like it's that kind of stuff. So obviously the conditions are not as harsh, but you can, what? Tell me I'm wrong. Just
I saw
tell me I'm wrong.
Like, and he has to wrestle a horse.
It has to kill a zebra. That's how it eats.
I saw a horrible image of a lion being tossed over like a herd of water buffalo or Cape buffalo, and I'm like, what is that thing doing in there? It's like beat to heck and just
Mistakes
like flying through the air. Yeah, like that must have been a desperate lion.
Or a dumb one. That is called Darwinism. That lion was not intelligent enough to live. So, you know, it's
like the polar bear chewing on a walrus, and he's like not even, you know, making a mark on the face. He's like looking at him like, all right, get off me. Knock it off. Stop that.
Oh man.
It's crazy.
All right. Sorry, Owen. You distracted me.
In
600 episodes of your.
In summary, Owen and Rob's adamantius was. Some have called it ugly, others pug fugly, others pug fugly. But just don't call it ugly.
Just don't call it ugly. Yeah. Look what you've done. You've killed it.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Well, and others can call it ugly or even ugly, and what won't change is how I perceive it. I guess is what I'm really saying.
Right. And I mean, there is something about finding your target, especially if that's the only thing, the main target, and you find it, it doesn't matter much what it looks like. It is a nice little bonus if it's like a really colorful or, nice looking individual. But at the same time, you got to appreciate. We found a one-eyed water python on Fog Dam. I thought that was kind of crazy.
Exactly.
And it was like, not like its eye had been damaged. It just didn't have an eye. Like the scales like closed up.
Oh,
right
wow.
where its eye should have been.
Oh,
it's
shit. That's
cool.
a new mutation?
Right.
One eye?
Yeah, one eye.
Okay, oh my God, man. It's right there. I call it.
But it was still cool because, we saw a water python at Fog Dam. But yeah.
Man. Heck yeah. I think the other question that I get a lot is when to go. Based off of watching all the snake hunters, I don't know, man. I think we should go in like right now.
Yeah, that's seriously
on my feed and Facebook, because I guess my algorithm just shows me Australian snake catchers. Mm-hmm. It's just constant, like every day. There's at least, especially in like the Brisbane area, as we know, you're gonna find them all day, all night. And I'm thinking maybe we should just ask people if we could herp in their yards or something, because it just seems like that's where they're all at,
Just follow around the snake catcher cars and be like, no, we're just here. But like, is that because they're having more interactions with people during this time of the year? Like, is that why all the snake catchers have videos? Because these guys, food is scarce, and it's like, I will take on that cat.
Yeah, they have 1,000 eyes looking, for the snakes for them, because they'll call them and say, hey, come to this address where this snake is coiled up in my my bin or whatever. So I don't think I think that's the danger of misinterpreting their data, because they're not out finding all those. Somebody else is finding them and calling them, and they're removing them. So I think obviously that shows that carpet pythons, at least on the East Coast, are very you can find them within disturbed habitat, areas where people are. They love the rodents that human habitation brings in. They love the increased cover of trees and shrubs and vines that may not be native, that they can hide better in. I mean, they, the attics that support different populations in Darwin or in Sydney or wherever. That's obviously something to take note of and identify. So yeah, I think that is a cool part about carpets, is you can herp these areas that are around towns or cities, and you can still have some luck finding a carpet python, assuming nobody hits it, because there's more people,
Yeah. I mean, I think I joked that when we got to Australia, it's like every puddle could have a crocodile. Like every trash can, every gas pump, every underneath tire, there could be a carpet python. Like there could be, with the amount of stuff that we've seen from the snake catchers and also just heard, they do prop up anywhere. And I wonder if it is, again, that just food is more scarce around this time, so that pushes them to have the interactions as they hunt for rodents and other stuff like that, where during the other months they kind of spread out because food is more abundant. So,
and I imagine they get pushed out of native, wild habitat, because all the people move in and keep expanding and shrinking the places they do have to go. And then that can only support so many. So then they get pushed into the, areas, and it maybe with, people and their trash and rodents that come along with them, they can support a higher density. So places like Brisbane and, the surroundings, you see so many records from that area. And same with, Darwin area, but it's a lot harder to find them out in the bush. You're going to find a lot less that way. So something to consider. Whereas it would be the opposite for like maybe it'd be the same for Brettles. They're often found near, disturbed habitats as well. There's just less disturbed habitats in the center of Australia, or less suitable areas.
I think about that all the time. We usually go up to that one timber spot, because it always looks like it's getting cleared in certain areas, and like it's kind of drifting closer and closer. Like I keep waiting to hear that it's like all of a sudden people are finding a crap ton of timbers, and it's like, no, they've been there the whole time. It's just now you built a Walmart next to it. Like it's that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's happened with, there are some gas stations, roadside stops on the way up to certain parts of Catskills, New York, and stuff like that have to shut down during the certain times of the year because they come out of the hills to warm up on the pavement.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking as far as carpet pythons. It's like when I'm looking at, and I get your point, Justin, as far as like the people are finding them and then calling for them, but I'm just looking at it in terms of activity.
Yeah,
it just seems like there's a lot of activity that's going on, and also I guess if you're looking at it objectively, right, they're wanting to push their business of catching snakes, and you know
they want to show all the snakes they caught.
Catch snakes, if you would, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I was just looking at like in the form of that they're active at that time. But we always go October, right? We've never went outside of October.
Well, we were going to once in 2020.
Once.
And then what? Oh,
yeah,
March of 2020.
Oh, yeah. Why did that trip get canceled? It's a mystery.
Why did we pick March? Why was March? What was the thinking?
Sort of that same idea, right?
Yeah.
It's a shoulder season, but on the opposite perspective.
The opposite end.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when we went and found a Brettles too. So that was.
So in your experience, Justin, is that more of a wet? Does it change from west to east coast?
Well, I don't know. I mean, so that's one of the nice things about, INAT or things like that is you can go on and look at, when the most records are being made. And obviously,
like that little graph, right?
Yeah. And there's still, 400 records in July, but that might be up at the top end where I went to that spot over by Cunanura to look for the Kimberly rocks, and my buddy over there said, "Oh, the best time to see those is in the middle of the winter because then they come out to bask and they're out basking longer. When it's hot, they just need to go out for 5 minutes and they're, heated up beyond what they need and they're ready to go. But in the winter, they spend more time out in the open basking. So, it depends on the species, the locality. I'm sure, some things will come out of their winter rest to bask, in the rocks or whatever, where they're overwintering, like, Shine showed with diamonds. So depends on what time of year and where you're at. But it looks like, at least I think this is for Morelia spilota, but they have the peak observations is in October, but you have a similar peak in January, basically October through January, and then February it starts to kind of dip a bit, but that's just overall Morelia spilota. So
there's kind of a lot being conflated there. One of my favorite things to do, at least when we have a more open-ended trip, is to curate against particularly the INAT records where it's easier to define boundaries, and you can really, the data quality associated with the records is really good. Atlas of Living Australia is also good, but it's a little bit harder to search in, it's not quite as easy to do, but you can define a boundary and then make essentially your own charts in terms of rates of encounter based on that within that specific box. And sometimes, you have kind of a splitting versus lumping situation where the little graph that it'll give you is species level across a massive area, but you'll actually see you can see localized differences in terms of specific areas at specific times. So I would encourage people to take a look at that, and you just collate it by, defining your area, searching for your particular thing, and then you can limit it by month so that you can just, if you do it month over month, record those and you can plot them out and see it for yourself. And for the most part, carpets, I would say, are probably a little bit less seasonal than, some of these things that we're talking about. There does seem to be a pronounced seasonality. So sometimes it's not exactly even where the records coincide with that. Owen Pelly's is a notable example. It's intriguing that some of the recent records are coming from the middle of the Australian winter, June, July, and maybe that fits into that pattern of their coming out to bask and kind of sitting for longer periods of time where they can be observed. There was one of the recent records, I think that thing must have probably been sitting there for 2 or 3 days in terms of you saw different records over different days, different lighting conditions, those sorts of things, but clearly the same snake seated in the tree the same way.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Just on a side note, you were talking, you had me thinking about when you're talking about Darwin. I was watching this video the other day. You know that, what is it, like the mangrove walk thing we did
Yeah.
on the we did it on the first trip. I don't think
I thought we did
it
some sort of mangrove walk, unless I'm
right?
bleeding together other things.
So I watched this video and it had flooded, and that water was up to like the top of the bar, and they were walking through that. And I'm like, isn't there saltwater crocodiles?
Like, there are. You're putting great trust in those bars, man.
Wow. Holy shit. I got to find it and send it to you guys because you'll appreciate it when you see it. And you're just like, what the hell? Because I was having anxiety, like, oh my God.
Well, that's both between the tides and seasons, right? So I'm sure that's more or less the normative high water mark is where those bars go up to. But yeah, that's certainly when we went out on it, we weren't walking in water at all.
No. And even then I was a little nervous because I don't know.
It was right underneath it, sure.
Yeah, those little bars don't. I don't know. I don't trust that against the saltwater croc.
It's only an animal the size of a bus. I mean, I don't know why it's fine.
Such a big deal.
It's just a torpedo of scale and murder. Like it's fine.
So you guys kind of hit on this topic on your Australian bracket show that you did. That was what it was, right? Australian bracket, like where you pick the best places to go. My feeling is, and this is only based on my experiences, I think the most carpets we found was in Brisbane area. And they were everywhere.
Yeah, theoretically, we were probably realistically 4 hours north of there, but
in the Brisbane area,
central, lower central
coastal carpet territory, I guess,
absolutely.
if you will. We just seemed to, not that I would ever get bored of a carpet python, but it did kind of get to
7 or 8 within 70 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It was very different for sure.
Yeah. Another coastal carpet, huh? Okay. All right. Yeah, let's get out.
Spoken like a true IJ lover.
But I've never had that experience. Like I've only ever found one coastal. Yeah. And it was like road cruising. I mean, inland a bit from Brisbane, but I haven't spent a lot of time maybe where I need to be, I guess. But I think that comes down to maybe getting advice from the locals or finding a good spot. And since I'd seen one like on my second trip or whatever, I just didn't really focus that much on it or plan the trip there. You know what I mean? Like I want the stuff I haven't seen. So that kind of, idea. So, but it would be cool to go and find several carpets in, one night.
Different size cool. Classes and things, different presentations. One or two of those in particular. The thing when you see 7 or 8 is one or two, with carpet, as you'd expect with carpets, 1 or 2 of those are going to be really intriguing. Yeah,
right.
I thought that one that was hit, that got hit was probably one of them. That one and the first night we found that one on that trip.
That one that
was kind of the blue-eyed one that kind of had inland gammon range type of feel to me.
Yeah, it almost had reds to it, like orange into reds into it. So
that's cool.
I hate
it. Was bucketing rain at the time, so that wasn't helpful for pictures, but
that surprised me. I did not think that the snakes, like that carpets would be out in the rain like that. And maybe it just got caught in the rain. Who knows? I don't know. But it just surprised me that it wasn't like a little spritz. It was kind of really raining.
It was coming down. Yeah, hard. We were driving that last few hours in heavy rain. But I mean, and it was I wonder if part of it is a reflection of their normal environment, right? So on our first trip, when we in the Cairns area, when Typhoon Owen had come through.
That's what you get for leaving me. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It seemed like everything was, everything but scrubs tucked away, basically. Yeah. And obviously the frogs loved it. But
of course,
being sort of subtropical rainforest, maybe rain there, the critters are more apt to recognize and avoid. Whereas this, 10 hours further south is, they don't have that same sort of natural reaction to rain in the same way. Because I don't know. It was. I agree with you that it was interesting. Off that first trip, my reaction was, "Oh, everything but scrubs will tuck away when it rains."
Yeah.
And a few years later, there's a contrary experience, as you highlight.
Yeah.
So,
I think that just highlights too the idea of the snapshot rather than the full picture. It's kind of like you're looking at just a snapshot in time of what this animal experiences. Well, I know for me, sometimes I get too excited and I kind of like, I jump the gun. And then I get this. No.
Well, I brought it up.
And here it comes. Like, it's, also it's like, again, it's luck of the draw. And also with what I think we noticed, especially with the Darwin trip, is that our thinking is kind of backwards of it's warm, the reptiles are moving. It's like, no, it needs to cool down for them to come out because it's too fucking hot. So it's all that kind of stuff. So
I think that's weird for me and you too, Owen, just because of where we live. We don't experience that level of heat.
Exactly. And that's
typically ever. You know what I mean?
But even then, it's like at the hottest days in August, you're going to go herping. The only time you're going to see something is as the sun's coming up or as the sun's going down, because nothing wants to be out at those temperatures. So I feel like if you're in a tropical rainforest, especially depending on how bad the heat is, or also prey moves during rain and stuff like that, because that's when it's safe to move because predators are limited with hunting. So stuff could start kicking off, or if you're a carpet python and it starts raining like crazy and all the frogs are coming out like mass, you could be like, well, this is going to be easy pickings. All I have to do is get to the right spot and just start nailing frogs that show up. So
I've come to think that the reason that the three of us at least would have sort of that preconceived notion is a function of coming to this from the captive husbandry side, where we're always viewing things through the lens of keeping things in our homes and having to elevate the conditions to make them suitable. Whereas, obviously where we all live, there are extremes in conditions, but essentially it's the opposite functionality in many of these places where we're going to look for reptiles, is that actually it is too hot, right? That's definitionally the problem. Or if we're talking about the Palencios, right? That's where it became most clear to me. It was saying, like, when you're talking about an area undergoing desertification, the area that you most want to, where can things survive? They're in the area that's the most close to the favorable conditions for people, right? As opposed to working where we have to heat them up, we have to give them extra humidity, we have to do all these different things. It's the most moderate of those. When it's through that opposite lens, it's the most moderate conditions, actually.
It's weird because after going to Australia, I tend to use my heat panels more as a safety net to make sure they don't get too low, as opposed to like pushing it up to the highest heat. Like, obviously they do get a hot spot during the day, but before there used to be no night drop at all unless it was breeding season. Now there is a night drop, and then whatever the room does in the summer is whatever the room does. And there's really been no problems. It's just not something. It's feel like that they don't need a constant 90-degree heat coming at them. They need fluctuations. And I've noticed that my snakes will come out and bask at different times and different stuff. And I'm trying to alter things and provide different ways for them to go about that stuff. So this year will be ceiling hides. So.
Ceiling hides, you said?
Yeah. Ceiling hides.
I thought you already had those.
I have some, like the roughies, because I love them more than everybody. Have ceiling hides. I want to give ceiling hides to like all my pythons, because I think they would all benefit. Like, I cannot get my Dunn's pythons to get out of their ceiling hides, and the problem is that they need to upgrade size. And watching two nearly 5-foot pythons cram themselves into a medium hide and therefore get like stuck on the tracks is just become a mess. So I have to pull them out before I do intros. But I'd like to give them the large hides, because like my roughies in this cage, they can both fit in the ceiling hide, and that's where they are. I don't see them. They're just both up in there right now. She looks kind of gravid, but I kind of want to offer that for a lot of different snakes to be able to get the temperature, still be hidden, get up high, do all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what we're going to do with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The bar, Eric. You always have to advance. Always try to. I need
always
to be
pushing ahead.
Oh, it's like how I always tell you. You need to be a student of the serpent. A way to move forward. It's not always about breeding. It's kind of,
You should really listen to him, Eric.
Thank you. Justin said that.
So it must be true.
It must be true.
All right. So I personally, for me, when to go, obviously this is like a once a year type of thing. It's not like I can go to Australia like 3 times a year, but I think at one point I would like to do it in a different time frame. I might regret it when I go, but I would just like to see the difference of what the difference would be. But yeah, I do like our October time. But
when we plan the March trip, I guess when you go the same time of year, you kind of know what to expect to some extent. But we, in March, we get there and it's like hotter than it should have, like hotter than average. And then it was dry. So, I'm like, oh crap, I just screwed us all, there's no way. But I had heard before that, Brettles might be more likely to be down on the ground looking for mammals when it's drier and it's been a little harder, because otherwise they're up in the trees getting birds and nesting birds and things like that occur in the spring, in October and November over there. And so I can't remember who it was that told me, I think we put in both editions of the carpet book, but like that they're out hunting mammals during the drier times of the year when there's not, and they're easier to spot if they're on the ground because there's no grasses everywhere. It's kind of drier and stuff. And we, I'm seeing videos coming out of some of these gorges we were in the West McDonald's in Central Australia, and they're absolutely like flooded, like up to the walking path, into the gorge and stuff. Whereas like we had to walk probably 30 feet down an embankment to get to what little water there was left. And so it's like a completely different scenario. And Aspen made the comment like, oh, we should, it'd be great to be there now. And I'm like, well, maybe, like when I was there, I didn't find a Brettles. I didn't find all these things because it was so wet and so rainy. Right. We did find things that we didn't get on this trip. We saw, a plethora of bearded dragons, and we didn't see any bearded dragons except one that had been hit by a car, so it was kind of a much different trip. So I agree, like if you're going to the same spot you've already been, maybe try a different time of year to see a different variety or different species at different times of year.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Although access, as you highlight, right? So that, when Jordan had gone to the same places that we had gone looking for level palma, right? It wasn't even accessible 6 weeks later or whatever that was. Right? Yeah.
The waters had infiltrated and the salties had infiltrated, you're not going in that gorge the same way. And also having, Dougal on was really eye-opening, and finding out that you could take a plane up to Iron Range and go during the wet season, and times where he's finding 90 green trees in the night, kind of crazy. So those kind of things are nice too, or if there's access to them, like you're restricted to go look for Carinata or something to June or July or August when it's the dry and cold time of the year.
Right.
I remember, I think it was Matt Somerville talking about finding a Carinata when he could see his breath, like it was that cold at night. And he's thinking, oh, we're going to strike out because it's too cold. And then they found one out hunting, like in the middle of the Australian winter. So, but that's the only time you can get access without, chartering I saw that there's a bunch of cruises that go through the Kimberley, around the clock. kind of thing. So that, but they're like all 10 grand or something.
Right.
It's like, oh, I can't afford
I don't
that.
think
Never
it's that
mind.
price point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I also thought too, they were flights, and I've heard people talking about like helicopter traffic at Mitchell River Falls, where it's just like constant, like helicopters coming in and out from Kununurra. And I thought, man, I wonder if you could, tip the helicopter
Set us
guy,
down here.
have him drop you off
Yeah.
and stay there for a week and then come pick you up, and you just pay for 2 trips basically,
The issue is, I think he would drop you off. It's just like, you have to tip real well or he's not coming back. Like, and then you've got a problem. So,
yeah.
Do we?
I mean, not immediately. Like, it's not an immediate problem. It's after a week or so when your supplies are low and we start drawing straws on who's going to get eaten first. Then you've got a problem.
If it was birders, then there'd be all sorts of infrastructure and methods to get up there, but it would also be more expensive. They seem to be a richer bunch than us reptile feeders.
Yeah. We're the poor group of the reptile.
The redheaded stepchildren of the wildlife world.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry,
part
Rob.
goes back to your question there, Eric, in terms of length of trip, is just the thing, whether we're talking about going to Iron Range in the wet, where, so yeah, Dougal said, in terms of, he couldn't leave his house, his house on wheels or whatever for 2 weeks. And then when he could, he turned up, all those green trees.
Right.
Well, if we're at the whim of that, at that great distance, it's a little bit more difficult. Even the Kimberly conversation, right, is the further that you're going, you probably want to play it into what seems to be a more consistent or safer window. So you probably don't get the chance for the big spike, but if we're going, then if we're flying down to Cairns, to then be able to take that flight up to Lockhart, then we don't want it. So we'll probably have to build in sort of dead days just in case. Anyway, we don't want to be, stranded. Obviously, if you're stranded 50 miles from home, that's entirely different from 5,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, Alan Rapace was telling me a story when he was herping WA and was kind of up in the Kimberley, heading east, to try to get to Darwin to fly out. And he said they barely made it like across one of the river crossings before it just like they watched it rise, after they'd gotten through. And it was almost like to the point where they got there and they're like, should we attempt this? Like, this looks a little sketchy. And they're like, well, if we don't, we're going to be stuck here for who knows how long, so they made it across, and then they just watched the river rise and rise. They're like, oh man, I'm glad we made it, and then they, made it to Darwin from there. But crazy. Yeah. There's some places that have enough water crossings that you're kind of out of luck if you get stuck there. And then there's heavy rains.
Yeah. Wow.
Even like our accommodations in Alice Springs were like the roads to those were closed down in these videos. I'm like, oh, that's the road we took to go to our hotel room, and we wouldn't have been able to go to our hotel room that we booked.
Wow.
So you kind of got to know when to not go as well, or the risk of going at certain times of year.
That's a good point.
To when you're planning your trip. And I didn't realize, like when we did the Darwin trip and I did the little WA arm of the trip, I didn't realize that national parks closed down because it's too hot. And so like I was restricted where I could go in Kununurra, the area around Kununurra, because like the Bungles, like that place was closed down, and a couple gorges that I wanted to go swim with, freshwater crocodiles, those were closed down, those kind of things. Kind of a bummer that I didn't get to go see some of the areas I wanted to see. I mean, there was plenty to still do, but there was even like a gate across one of the roads into one of the, a section where there's a bunch of different gorges because it's too hot and there's just nobody there, and they don't want to have to patrol it to rescue somebody like me that got stuck there or something. So
bring out a helicopter or something like that. In Texas, they were just like, just drink water and get out. Like, oh, okay. So, but I mean, also like the idea of dead days is good too, because one of the best case scenarios is you find your target species immediately, and then now you can alter the plan accordingly. You can stay there if you wanted to and keep looking and maybe find more, or depending on what's close, what's going on, you can kind of roll the dice of moving on. And I do kind of like that with a lot of our trips. It's like, you know, we get there and I'm like, Rob, what are we looking for? It's like, this is it. We're here for this for a couple days. Like, and then either we find it or the spot is dead. The option of, do we stay here and move on? Do we keep looking? It's like, there's a lot of, I like the flexibility of it, even though it's a crapshoot every time of, we can stay here and it might pop up, but we've been here for like a bunch of hours, or this is our second day here, or we can go to the next place and hopefully turn up something. So.
Right. And that can become expensive if you know, you
even in the middle of nowhere,
a lot of times you're tied to accommodations if you're staying, you know, living the cushy life on a herp trip, or if you're, you know, if you're staying in a tent, you can move on whenever you want. But if you've got like, okay, these days we're at this spot in this hotel, you know, you've kind of either you got to cancel your reservation and either lose out on money or whatever. So that can be part of the challenge too. And it's hard to know, you know, especially if you're planning months in advance, whether an area is going to be dead or not till you get there. But, you know, you can, there is some, you should have some flexibility built in to some extent, you know, on our trip in last March to Central Australia, we were, you know, we were on the last day, we'd found the stuff we wanted to see, you know, we'd seen all the pythons, and then there was a chance to go see black-headed pythons. So we're like, hey, there's the spot, you know, that's within driving distance. We were going to head kind of north anyway. And we're like, well, should we go back to the spot we've already seen, or should we go try to get a black-headed python? We're like, yeah, let's go for the black-headed python. Basically had one night to hit that target, and then the next day we were flying out. So drove up there and got lucky and found one, you know, so it worked out. But, you know, it could have easily have gone the other way, but it was a cool area and neat to get to a different spot that wasn't dirt roads. You know, it was mostly paved to that spot.
I don't like it when it's happening, but I do like the ups and downs of herping, because I think when you really like, you missed it, this, that, you know, you didn't get it, whatever. But then when you hit that high, it just feels so much better. Right. Because you know what that low feels like. And like, you know, so.
But I think you need to build it into, because herping, sometimes you don't find your target. And if you're going to, like, I mean, there's some places where, you know, that's the only target in the area, like an inland taipan. You don't go out there unless you're looking for an inland taipan, pretty much, you know, because whatever else is out there, you can see in other better herping spots. Like, that's just, you know, no man's land almost. And so, you know, if you go out there and spend a hard week of herping in no man's land and don't see the target, you've got to be able to appreciate the trip for what it is. Right. And that's a challenge too, especially when you see, you know, if you're watching YouTube videos, you're only seeing like their success for the most part. I mean, some YouTube, you know, the herping bloggers types, they'll kind of just be talking and walking and not really showing anything, you know, or showing them flipping rocks and not finding anything. So you know, it's hard to find what's reality until you get out there and do it yourself. And then you're like, oh man, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, or man, they got lucky. Another example is that one of my, you know, first herping trips to Southern California, where I saw like leaf nose snakes everywhere, or leaf nose snakes. And I was like, man, these things are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere, you know? And then every trip after that, except for this last one, I haven't seen a leaf nose snake. And I saw probably 30 on that. They were everywhere, you know? And like, man, just another stupid leaf nose snake. But now I'm like, oh, it's a leaf nose snake. I haven't seen one of those in a while. So you never know like what the factors are that's going to get certain things moving on that particular night or whatever. So sometimes you're just firing on all cylinders. One night at Fog Dam, we saw, you know, 4 or 5 water pythons, a bunch of different frogs, a couple different colubrids, and it was like hopping. And then we went back the next night and saw nothing. And it's like, what is the difference between the 2 nights, you know? And same with Doe Rat Road, same kind of thing. Killing it one night, and then the next night, nothing. It's really weird. And then this time, same thing with our last trip to Darwin area. I thought, oh yeah, Ciliaris, we'll see them everywhere. You know, you always see the spiny tail geckos, and we saw none.
Yeah.
I had to wait till I got over to WA to see one. So
Right.
it's just kind of like the guys kept getting mad at me for stopping for another silly Eris. It's kind of weird how that works.
Yeah.
It is.
And you can't necessarily, I mean, you can kind of plan for it. You can kind of say, okay, when are these things most active? But it definitely comes down to luck, and
it does
being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I think it's important too
yeah.
that you find the right herping people with. People that you get along with.
Yeah.
I think because that's going to make your trip too. Because I don't know, man. To me, like when we come back from a herping trip, even if we don't find anything, I have a sense of recharge. Like I'm recharged. I feel good. I feel like it's like I don't know. I feel my thoughts are clearer. I'm just firing on all cylinders when I come back because I don't know. It's just a good time. It's a good time to get away from the regular everydays of life. You're spending time in the field with people, that you get to know very well. I mean, you're going to learn about people real quick when you're spending a week with them in
if you can
in a car,
if you want to kill them or not, like
we got to listen to Nipper's music, so.
Listen,
no, we
don't have to. He can be outvoted. He's not that scary. Okay.
We'll make him listen to Taylor Swift the whole time.
Yes.
He's a Swiftie. Come on. He's swifting it around when he's up drinking
he's
his
wearing
tea.
all his
Stinky's out,
muzzing around,
muzzing all over the kitchen. I got his number.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think that's a good point, Justin. You have to sort of built in to your mindset that you might not be successful.
Yeah. And there are some areas that are just not fun. Miserable places with nowhere really to stay and rough conditions. But those are few and far between. And I think Rob does a great job of like planning a trip that has hikes, so at least you're seeing cool scenery during the day, and you have a chance of also seeing cool herps on the hike, so that's he's planning these cool hikes through great areas where you're going to find cool herps
and other animals too, because I mean we saw a bunch of cool shit, and then like Eric was almost eaten by a black bear in Texas at one point, so like there's other cool interactions to kind of keep you focused. And I tried to steal a triceratops head in Texas, but it was like behind glass and bolted down. Like there's a lot of cool stuff to help kind of break up the monotony of we're going to go up this hill and there might be something there might not be. So
and I think you need to build in that kind of time too if you're doing a longer herp trip, is especially to have time to kind of relax and lay on the rocks and watch the ants crawl by and kind of rest up a bit. There's something to that, or sitting in the pool at the resort you're staying at,
or wandering around and trying to find some good place to eat after you've done all this kind of crap.
Exactly. Those things should be built in too.
I think that's a lot of the sort of moments of clarity, right, Eric, that you're talking about is I guess that's where we wind up in the conversation of the difference between walking cuts versus cruising versus hiking in the habitat. There's again the principal thing is turning something up, but when you're in a space where you're not turning something up, I'd much rather be hiking in beautiful habitat. If all things being equal, particularly when that equal is not seeing anything, that experience is much more invigorating for sure.
Then walking back and forth on a rock wall, hoping to God you don't get hit by a truck. Wearing a reflective jacket and
I think our first trip to Australia, we did more driving.
Well, we were just going so far. I mean, I would say that's the other part of it. And Justin, you kind of hit on this, is in terms of flexibility within a spot. If there are options, it seems, there's definitely utility in finding sort of centrally located places so that it might put you kind of equidistant to a handful of different things. And then that gives you some optionality even without changing the place, right? It's harder in some places than others. West Texas is relatively difficult because there's so little access to these places that sort of you can you're inherently going to be relatively far. If you're over, kind of, in the the Alpine area, Alpine Fort Davis, even choosing amongst those can make a big difference in terms of the time and sort of accessibility of things versus being over in Marathon or in Sanderson. Those are different choices that give you different access and different, availability to those things. Unless you're Jordan, who can just pound out the miles.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy can drive like a madman. I'm so impressed. I just couldn't do it. But I also too, tent camping, car camping is not a bad option either. They have a lot of advances in, blow up mattresses and sleeping bags and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, if you're out in the middle of Texas in the middle of the summer, you probably want an air conditioned room. But we in Central Australia, we spent several nights in tents, and it was pretty reasonable. It would cool down at night to some extent. Yeah. Whereas, in Texas, it was still 100+ degrees after midnight, which you don't want to be
not fair.
Like that's just not doable.
I think of that walk that we almost did when we kind of walked out when it was Phil and Justin were with us. And there's Phil and Schmitty.
No, we don't want to do this one.
We made it out to the rock. We took a picture and we're like, nah, I don't think we should do this.
Too much exposure. It's a good thought, but probably not the best day to do this hike. Yeah.
We're not going to find anything,
Yeah. And this goes back to Rob's, you got to have plan B, C, D, so if you get to a place and you're like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or there's a gate and you can't even access that, you're like, okay, now our night is shot. Let's go back to the accommodations. Or do you say, well, where's a close by spot? What's my plan B? What's my plan C? Yeah. Like we did in Darwin, we had extenuating circumstances that said, okay, well, there's a fire here. So obviously we're not going to want to herp here tonight with an active fire.
There's a gate here. There's a
exactly. Yeah. So what's our alternative plans? And I think, Rob always does a good job of having, and I think that's from experience, right? You did kind of set yourself up on first, few trips.
The very first time. It was a question of that. And that wasn't, that was sort of,
that was more relying on people. Yeah,
exactly. Right. We had how many years at that point of, when you come down, we'll drop everything and accompany you and all these things. And that's fine. No hard feelings as to any of that, but it's just, it only took one for me to say, okay, never again. We're not doing that again. I'm happy to, we still see this, right? Where folks want to come out and meet up. And sometimes that turns out great. The first time we went to Arizona, Dustin came out and showed us, a couple of cool places. And then actually the day that we turned stuff up, he wasn't out with us. But, that's turned into, years of him coming, just being incorporated trips, in and coming on the trips and stuff. So it can go great. And I'm certainly open to that. It's just always, hey, let's have a plan. And then if, they want to fit into the plan, or it becomes, hey, let's option into that plan, great, super happy for that. But I don't ever want to be sitting there again going, what are we going to do?
Right.
Yeah, that was I remember those afternoons of like, well, where do we go, what do we do? That wasn't fun. And that trip was kind of crazy, and is that we flew into Brisbane and we went up. Then we flew up to Cairns. Then we flew back to Brisbane, and then we flew home. It was kind of,
it was a whirlwind.
Yeah. And we did it in did we do it in 10 days? I felt like it was shorter, right?
That was shorter. That was even less.
I thought so. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, it can still work. Like I don't. How long was Paul over? Because Paul seemed to be in. He went pretty much all over the place.
Basically a week each place.
Oh wow! So he was over there for like almost a month or 3 or 4 weeks.
Maybe it was, if you said, I think it framed it as basically a week, but maybe if it was 5 or 6 days, and maybe that's just under 3 weeks or something like that.
Right. And I guess if you're doing that, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're going to be dependent on when your flights are leaving, and you don't want to oversleep like Paul did and miss your flight, and have to pull up late or not at all. And I think too, like talking about flying up to Iron Range, they said they could bump you, for a local at any time, like you weren't priority. So even if you had a ticket, it didn't necessarily mean you were going that day. Because they could say, oh, well, not enough people are flying, so just come back tomorrow, so you got to be able to have that plan B.
Yeah, so I think that's where I would say, doing that, we would want to build in a lot of flexibility to that.
Yeah.
And it sort of seems like, and
back end.
it's probably, exactly right. And it's probably unsurprising relative to where it is. And, there's something enviable in it, but you're in parts of the world where things just operate on a different schedule and cadence and level of necessity than what we're used to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I almost lived in Darwin because that trip I got screwed over. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here.
I'll stay here. Then you want?
I'll show him.
I'll show him. I'll stay right here where I have nothing.
I don't have any commitments.
I don't have a family at home waiting for me with small children. I'll show
fine.
him. Yeah.
Just a couple more months, honey, and then I'll break him.
Well, that was a really nice experience in some regard, because when Joy Kulagowski and Denver and Troy found out, like they flew me over to their spot, down in in Brisbane, and picked me up from the airport and drove me around, all this stuff, like took me to different collections, took me out herping. Like they wanted my trip to end on a good note. Just class act people. I just love those
awesome.
guys. So
cool.
Sometimes the Australians come through in flying colors, so that was a fantastic trip because of them. It could have ended on a much sour note.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think the other thing that I was thinking about, well, just real quick, I'm just curious. What is the locality that, I'll start with you, Justin, that you would want to see that you haven't seen of carpet python?
Well, I really want to see an inland, whether it's the Gammon Ranges form or the regular inland form. I think that might be, my last big form I need to see. Am I missing something? I think I've seen, other than different localities, but
sure.
I think that would.
You've seen all the species and subspecies, basically.
Yeah, for the carpets. So that would be awesome. And I think it's a doable thing. Jordan found one, and we looked really hard. That was another one where it's like, man, we pounded the pavement looking for those things. Well, and I guess Brettles was the same kind of thing, as we put in a solid week of searching, walking and staying up late and more walking and hiking and, just looking in suitable habitat without luck until we finally got lucky, Yeah.
You just got to be right there, which
hard
to, and it's hitting a moving target. So,
and you might strike out, you might miss out on it. And there were a few things that kind of like, some input from Gavin or from Dale, who, kind of knew the area a little better. And he said, oh, this might be a better option to look around here. And that made the difference. We changed up our plan a little bit, moved where we were searching to a different area. And that made all the difference. So I think, that goes back to kind of adapting your plan to, try something new where the methods for the first 5 days weren't really doing. We were finding one, and then tried the thing that they suggested and
shifted up,
worked out. So that was taking advice of locals who have experience is good too. But I think inlands, I really want to see an inland of some form or another.
I don't know. Did you see that pic? I forget who put it up. I want to say it was FNQ on Instagram, maybe, but it was maybe I have the picture of it. It was a inland in a tree.
I think the FNQ guy, does he just do like summaries of other people's, or is that his picture?
Maybe. I don't know.
I saw a really nice one. I'm trying to think of
I
just see all this Sanzinia. I can't.
It's not even a carpet python. It's just
I'll find it.
A boa of some kind. I would go with coastal because I have not gotten coastals, and I desperately am in love with coastals when it comes to all of the carpets because they're inferior. So, coastals.
Okay.
Coastals. You
I think we
guys
could make that happen for you, buddy.
You guys went and you're like, we're tripping over them. And I'm like, but I would.
That one.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's one of those Gammon Ranges types, like the inland.
Okay.
Inland.
Inland
squared carpet.
Book. Yeah.
Now that's red. That's red.
That's
nice.
Yeah, those are up in the north, like in where was it? Yeah, anywhere up kind of the north
I'd
of
take
their area. Yep. Yeah. Looks like it looks like some that in the Goiters Lagoon area. But I was thinking of the one that Alex Holmes found. It was more of the typical inland. Really nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Rob? What did you
I think probably a diamond python.
Diamond python, okay. Yeah.
Just in terms of that habitat type, and especially finding one sort of, in the it was there for us. We were probably a week or two early, but and probably 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit too cold, something like that. And even one of those that next day, right, felt pretty good for it, where you could easily, visualize, sitting that dark coloration. It was cool to cold, but you could see it. If it was a higher elevation, then you feel really good about it. It was there. So within sort of it's obviously they're beautiful, but within that landscape would be really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Owen's a
coastal.
Right. For me, I don't know. There's so many. Obviously, Imbricata is probably my top one that I want to find. I would love to see the carpets on the St. Francis Island. I would love to see some weird carpets off the islands of the Queensland area.
Yeah.
I would love to go see that one that Scott talked about, the Crumbit Tops one that was, or Crumbit Tops or whatever it was. They're supposedly smaller. I think that would be cool. I mean, there's, obviously the Gammon Range stuff that's a no-brainer, and seeing all the species and all that stuff. But
you wouldn't want to go find
I would love to see where the coastal carpets and the diamond pythons intergrade. I would love to see, I would hope that we could do something where it would be similar to the coastal carpet night or nights, to where you go out and just see a bunch of different phenotypes. I think that would be badass to see that in real life.
Mess with your brain. It's just this is a coastal, right?
It's wait a minute.
I don't.
Because there always seem to be they're they look like a diamond, but they got the colors of a coastal, and you're just like, I think it looks cool.
Bumblebee tuna,
right?
That's
Yeah, there's some beautiful carpets from that intergrade zone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I don't know. That would be mine. But probably Imbricata is probably the top.
Yeah.
And some of those Imbricata are just insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's you see some of those photos, where they're just stretched out in the road, and it's almost surreal, right?
Yeah.
I think there's one in the it's the pythons of the Australian pythons with the black head eating the bearded dragon on the cover. Yeah. And they have a picture of an Imbricata in there that looks like, oh my God, the colors on this thing are just, it's not even real.
Yeah.
Mine's already.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. I just had it right here, so I'll look it up. Can't remember what page it's on, but
quick, do flipping. This is an audio medium.
I'll stop talking while Justin's flipping. We're looking at him flip faster.
Faster. We don't know what to do right now. This is our 600th episode.
Complain about Owen.
Yes.
I don't know if this is the one you're thinking of, but that's one that comes up.
No. See, now he's getting a book. I'll go get one in a second, and then we can all flip the pages. Rob,
it makes for great podcast.
Upstairs. It's great. This is fantastic audio. Yeah. God. Anyway,
keep going, keep ranting, keep
I
ranting.
mean, I can only rant for so long. I'm tired. Like, it's just like,
I mean,
not what it used to be.
I think the imbricata.
Book.
Yeah, I don't think it's the one you're thinking of. The imbricata. I think you're thinking of the one I found. That one was fantastic.
I think you're thinking of what I did. Oh,
But
okay.
the imbricata, the first one that we found was it was like based on an area where I'd seen 3 DORs in like a short stretch of area. And on the second trip back to that same area, we saw another 1 or 2 DOR imbricata in the same place. So like it was a big bummer to drive through there and go, oh man, there's dead on the road imbricata. You know, like that's the downside of herping Australia for sure. But it also lets you know there's a lot of them here and they're active, you know, crossing the road at night around this time of year. So I said, honey, let's come back to this spot and give me a half hour, because we were supposed to be at a friend's house that night. And she's like, well, I worry, you know, we're going to be there so late. They're going to be upset or something. She's like, as long as you call them then and tell them we're going to be late, I'll give you a, you know, half hour after
deal.
Yeah. And sure enough, like seriously, like as soon as it was dark all the way, there's one right
there
getting ready to cross the road. It was beautiful, beautiful animal. And then the next one was hiked up. The one the following year was hiked up in an area that was really cool. Same general area, you know, just a little bit further inland. I guess east of the coast from in WA, but unfortunately it was in shed, but we got some really great pictures because of the place it was found in. You know, it was fantastic. So
for the listeners out there, Eric has now gotten a third book, has quit, and is now looking on his computer. He is now, I assume that he's searching photos there. He may get a fourth book. I am worried about him, but just in case anybody in the audio part of the podcast was wondering what the hell is going on. So there you go.
Good times.
Well, and Eric, I sent you a link. That'll be my contribution to the party.
Rob has saved what happens, and Eric no longer has to search on the computer. I am your narrator, Owen McIntyre.
Very well.
And, you chose
You're doing
to be
a great
here,
job, Owen.
and I apologize. So
600 episodes. You're doing great.
You're welcome. Let me free. Let me go.
Where did you send it to, Rob?
In the studio chat.
Oh, gotcha.
Too many chats open with Rob and Eric talking about various things, and I'm in there a couple times. It's just, you know, lots of different stuff. Jesus Christ, what is happening? Like,
wow. Okay, yeah. Let's see, share.
That's beautiful.
Everyone can see it. No one can see it. No one knows what's happening.
There
it is.
Oh man, that thing is really light colored.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, go to that third picture and then blow it up.
This one?
That's
the
third.
Oh, the first one?
Third picture. Two, three. There he goes.
And now make it big.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. That's a little lighter than the one I saw. Yeah.
That's like very jaggish, which is a weird thing to say here.
It's beautiful.
But yes.
That's all you got?
Shut your goddamn mouth. Hey. It's a light cream color base color, and then it's got I guess what we call that, like red saddles.
And that's like white.
White,
yeah, white with almost like very light orangey tan saddles with,
and the saddles have merged
outline.
Yeah, and the saddles merge a lot, so like the spots are huge and almost forming stripes, like they want to be stripes on the front part of it,
right?
And it has a little bit more black towards the tail, like it looks like the borders on the saddles get thicker, but that is such a weird looking animal.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yep, should have collected that one. I mean, no, that's not allowed.
How dare you?
Oh,
I can't
Oh
believe
no. Now we're looking at grass. Now we're looking at grass.
The grass is great.
Just grass. Look at grass. It's green.
I can't believe I can't find the picture. It's going to drive me nuts. But anyway,
it's going to be like 5 a.m. when Eric wakes up. He's going to be like, I found
I'm going to send it to you. You're going to be like, oh, yeah,
like,
that's nice. That's a nice one.
Normal people aren't awake at this time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm just realizing.
I know you're going to know this picture, Justin, as soon as you see it. I've showed it to you before. I know.
I was just.
I think. What's his name? Took it.
Is it in a book that Justin wrote? Because that might help.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, that limits us. We're down. Okay. I don't think it would have been in the Knobtail book. So we're at least down 3 books.
Sorry.
Unless it is in the Knobtail book, and then I have questions.
It could be. Who knows?
I mean, I haven't checked. I haven't gotten Knobtails yet. I haven't read that book yet. I got it though because I support Justin.
Oh, you just haven't read it yet.
I just haven't. Why? I don't have. What am I going to do? I don't have any of them.
I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
You could learn. I don't know.
Putting my kids through college. What? No, it's.
There's a nice one in the Gordy Tour book, but I don't know how.
Ooh.
Nah, I looked at that one too. That was the second book I grabbed when Owen was making fun of me.
I was not making fun of you. I was pointing out what was happening for the.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's looking for a book.
I mean, all right. You kind of have me in a box here, so it's
fair enough.
Fair enough. I will concede. Good day. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So that would be my favorite. And so I guess the kind of the last question that I had, I don't know what else you guys want to tell stories about finding carpets or whatever. But environment wise, it seems to me that you either go, like I said at the beginning, it seems to be found in where humans are. So, parks, stuff like that, I guess could be okay. But it seems to me that trees that are lined along the water is probably a good place to start.
A good bet.
Would you agree? Disagree?
Mm-hmm. Full agree. Yeah, that seems to be their preferred habitat is trees along water courses. But of course that can depend on the time of year. I guess I kind of mentioned Shine's studies of the diamond pythons where in the winter they go to rocky areas and in the summer they go in a more tree filled habitat. But so know their natural history. That's another shout out to natural history and some of the stuff we know about these things through different scientific publications. But or observations from folks on INAT or other places.
And certainly as a recommendation. So I think that's right in terms of looking at habitat. Obviously, the most efficacious way for our experience has been cruising them, be it dirt roads or paved. That's certainly where we've turned them up the most. I think, Eric, we've only seen one not that we haven't cruised?
The one that's on the back cover of the carpet book that was hiked up in. Yeah.
No, we saw the original
two,
coastal.
That's right.
We saw
the original coastal in Brisbane and
the Darwin.
The Darwin. I think those are the only
else
two.
Was cruised. Yeah.
The Imbricata was in an area that doesn't really have trees. It's all like low-lying shrubs. There's not many trees to speak of where we found the two Imbricata.
And that's sort of the northern periphery right of their range, and it's in that heath country.
Yeah. Coastal heath. Yeah. It's pretty different. Yeah. Lots of shinglebacks around there too. That'd be cool to have like a carpet python. I wonder if they'd eat a shingleback. Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea.
There's only one way to find out. I'm going to need a shingleback and a carpet python, and I will get you the answer. You cannot have the shingleback back. Though.
Yeah,
we know it, guys.
Yeah,
that is. Yeah, we do.
Love those things. Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know that Johnny will go for that.
I don't think he'd be keen. I don't think he'd be keen.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Johnny, we're very sorry, but
Here we go. This one was this wasn't the one, but I thought this one almost looked like some type of Antaresia at first with the pattern.
Right, those darker colored ones.
I mean,
just so much variability with them.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, they have some cool ones.
But I feel like if you hatch that out, like here, they'd be like, look at all the mud. Like it's
I would be happy.
I mean, of course you would be, but you're a connoisseur. Like, it's
seemed like a lot of the captive bred lineages in Australia were those darker ones like that. And some are really kind of contrasty, like bold black and white, look really cool. So there's some neat looking ones that are those darker individuals as well.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that people can do with a lot of different species of carpet python breeding wise and like lineage line breeding that we in the US kind of just are too lazy to do. Like the fact that there are white coastal carpet pythons, like white and black, and it's like, just why can't I have that?
Well, they do have a lot of access to a lot of. I mean, they don't have ball pythons like we have,
I don't want those. Like that's
I get it.
I don't. That's not the ones. I don't keep the purple like thing. Yeah, but
I just recall the picture in the carpet book that I think it's a imbricata eating a shingleback.
There we go. So now
photo by Rosalind Smith. Question answered. A couple years ago in the book.
We didn't have to borrow one of Johnny's, so we're okay.
We're good. We're good. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to throw out there as far as herping carpets? Herping at all? Carpet pythons?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I guess it depends on the type you're looking for, but sometimes it can be if they might be a little harder to predict. At least some of the species or subspecies might be harder to predict, like where you're going to find them and things like that. I mean, coastal carpets, maybe not so much, but like and I mean Brettles, where to look. If you're not finding them, it's not for lack of being in the wrong area, because there's only so many places you're going to find those. And but yeah, I think it's worth going out there, but maybe have some plan B and C targets as well.
Yeah. And there's plenty.
Some of them can be
in Australia.
Yeah. Right. That's the beauty of it is, if you're herping in Australia, you're finding something cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would also say look up. I think the problem is that we're like python, big snake, look down. And I like when we were at the botanical gardens and it took Gavin like 5 seconds to be like there, because we were all looking here-ish and he's like, there it is. So it's like, look up. Like they are semi-arboreal for a reason. They like to climb things. So
I will say that's not as fun to find one 30 feet up in a tree.
I know. It's like, there it is.
You almost don't want to find that one, because then you're like, I don't get good pictures of it or interact with it in any way, So that's kind of the downside to looking too far up, But I think if you look within, a place where your camera will reach, that might be the sweet spot. Sometimes you might not have a choice and you take what you get.
Exactly. And you know what? Looking up got us an Owen Pelly python. So it's okay to look up and be like there. So, you as a birder, that should be like, that's all you do is look at the thing and think, there it goes.
Yeah. Like, well, and I will say my neck, it took probably a couple weeks after the trip to Central Australia to get my neck cramped staring up in the trees all night, for a solid week. Yeah. It can not feel too great at the end of the long looking up. So
who's talking? Look, come to where I can see you. It's
yeah.
Well, and sometimes it's a green tree snake, not an Owen Pelly. Right?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think that's still one of my biggest regrets is not spending more time out that spot. But another trip, I guess.
Yeah. Another time.
Another trip, and you'll be like tripping over them. Be like, this is the 6th Owen Pelly python we found. I don't think we need to stop anymore.
I think the secret is when somebody finds one, that's like when they're moving, it seems like, you guys found one and several other people found one that same year,
Yeah.
They were just coming out of the woodwork.
Now they locked back down for another 6 years.
Is that like a group of animals that survived to that age to where they're breeding and now they're out trying to find a mate, and that's why you see those spikes of activity, every so often, so many years or something like that.
Cicada schedule.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
I knew it. It makes so much more sense. It's or did that finally become, or is the temperature finally good enough that you can push them? Like it
Who
pushes
knows?
them
That's
out
the
of
fun
the
of it.
escarpments. Yeah.
Right. I think it's probably more conditions, are suitable for whatever reason. I know that Gordon lived out in the town of Owen Pelly, and he said he searched, night and day for several years, and then he found like 3 within, a couple weeks.
Right.
So it's like, okay, there's something to that. They're not just difficult to find, or he's not looking right, or he got better as he went. It's just they're just not out,
Right.
Yeah.
It was there was the one spider person who found a big one just coiled in the parking lot that that we had been in a bunch of stuff that was massive, and it was just happened to be there. And then I think it was several days either before or after we had gone, some birders found one eating a bird. Like it was So it just might be the conditions were good enough to get these animals out of the cracks in the rocks that they really don't feel a need to ever get out of unless there's food, mate, water, whatever. Something has to push them out of it.
Yeah, my buddy Steve Crawford found 2 in one trip. His first trip out there, he's like, I don't know what the big deal is.
He's like the second one.
All of his friends who had been there, 8 times looking for him.
Screw you.
That stings a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get lucky.
Yeah, man.
That's all you can say. But.
Yep. Karma, man. Just be good. Be a good person, and it'll come back to you.
Take your cell phone and throw it into the woods, and then you'll get it. Yeah,
right. Whatever you got to do.
Some of those cracks and crevices are impressive. Remember, I think it must have been after we had seen ours that there was someone who was doing a TV program, the younger guy, right? And then it was ostensibly, I know Gavin was involved in that always.
Yeah.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
I know.
But him crawling through those cracks. Yeah.
He crawled through the cracks, but then he didn't find this beautiful Owen Pelly python that was in the crack mysteriously while Gavin is right there, who has a ton of Owen Pelly pythons. I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but we all know.
But to Rob's point, it was cool to see inside the cave.
See the crack. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's more of the point of Rob is the habitat.
I'm just saying.
And so, yes, I agree fully with you.
Thank you. That's all I want.
Having talked to a friend who supplied a number of snakes for Brian Barczyk's venom milking show, give him the pillowcase. It's more dramatic if he's trying to tie it into a pillowcase. This highly venomous snake in a pillowcase. Don't use the real hook bags. You got to have like an inch to tie it.
I love it when they're hook trained too, and it's just like and snake's like, this is not my whatever. Like it's just in.
They're like cut, and the guy walks over and picks it up and
throws it in.
His pet. That's the beauty of television, right? Mutual of Omaha dumping boxes of dead lemmings off a cliff to show how they run and jump off the cliff. There's
happen, did it?
And now we have the beauty of AI. I don't know.
We just make the lemming do it.
Australian. There's like this Australian Aboriginal guy that's like down in the dirt, and there's like a coiled tiger snake like right in front of him. But it like seems to move the same way over and over again while he's doing his little speech. You're like, oh man, that's not even a good AI. It's like it looks totally fake, but it's kind of cool because it's not running away or he's not trying to grab it or mess with it. But I guess you get to see what a tiger snake looks like. But,
or
Yeah.
what a AI generated tiger
I mean,
snake looks like.
is it really any much different from getting a captive animal out in the bush and saying, "Look what I just found,
No,
a hatching pile of green tree pythons. Look at them all."
so weird.
Yeah.
Like it's
Hey, Steve, come over here and see what I found. The whole clutch of green trees just hatched. Yeah.
Look, this one
Wow.
looks like what's Bill's
sickness.
sickness.
Well, that was
Yeah, this
didn't
is
somebody
a little
like
sickness.
didn't somebody want to film his last clutch of eggs hatching for like B-roll for something like that?
Right.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
You put
I'm
it
like-
under like a log with some dirt or something.
Yeah,
and-
it was like it's a bunch of moss that you get at Home Depot around it. Like I see what's
Right.
happening here.
Yeah, you always look at the end of those nature documentaries, and if they have like wildlife,
Yep.
facilities involved, and chances
Okay.
are it was probably a captive animal.
Yeah.
Supplied by
I
them.
know Rex Neindorf at the the Alice Springs Reptile Park. He has done a lot of different films. I think that one of my favorites I saw, I think on like Animal Planet back in the 90s or early 2000s, was that Surviving the Wild Australian reptiles, and it was like mostly filmed in Central Australia.
Really?
They show some Brettles catching a rat, and it's just like, oh, I have it on
cool.
like VHS somewhere, but that's the problem. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got the what is it? Is it Rob Brettles?
Yeah, Killer Instinct, where he reaches in the
it's
tree
pythons.
hollow and pulls out
Yeah.
an inland. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think
Oh.
this tree looks good. Let's check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good condition.
And it just happened to come out of the tree hollow so
Yeah.
easily, like wild
Just like
pythons
the
are
book said.
known to do. Yeah,
Not a mark on it. But
yeah.
what'll be funny, I think, is in the next like maybe 2 or 3 years, Justin will be able to give that VHS to his students. He'd be like, play this for me, and they will have no idea
Yeah.
what to do, where to put it, or how to make that happen. So that'll be fun later.
Yeah.
What is this thing?
What is this thing?
We broke it open, but we couldn't get it to play.
Just all this.
Just oh no.
All this string. What is this?
Ay, ay, ay. So I guess I would end on this. You guys, like how's your season going? Are you breeding this year or what's
Yeah.
whoever? Yeah. Justin
Justin
Yeah,
is
but,
Rob. We don't know.
I'm hoping for some pygmy banded pythons. That'd be a new thing for me to check out.
Nice.
From what I'm told, they're just children's pythons, so I guess it's not anything new. But,
So it should be good. You should be good.
Yeah.
So you should get this done. Like I don't understand.
But they're
50 bucks.
looking like it's moving in the right.
Cost? 50
Right.
bucks, something like that.
For you, Eric, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I'm excited for those. Hopefully they go. You never know until good eggs are on the ground and good eggs are hatching out of your incubator or whatever. So
Could this be the one year where you hit them all? Like all of them?
yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd be cool.
I'm trying to think. I know spotted pythons gravid, and I didn't really pair a lot of Stimson's pythons this year, but I probably should have. I did pair a couple pairs, but maybe later in the season. And then the children's, they're together. So last year I produced the 4. So, and my pygmy pythons are finally eating all but 2. So that's pretty cool. There's
last year's pygmies.
Yeah.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah. They're a challenge.
Do children's go later? Because I have mine together, and my female seems a little plumper, but also she's not the normal murderous tiny python that she usually is.
Yeah.
And I kind of like my Woma python would always like calm down when she was gravid. So
yeah.
But I haven't seen too much interactions from the two of them. So
yeah, I mean I don't know, entries are pretty straightforward, pretty easy,
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's always the fucking easy
I love when people ask Justin about Antaresia.
I mean, I'm just gonna.
They expect like there's gonna be some secret or something, and he says
like,
the same thing all the time.
I followed the Owen method. I put
That's a terrible method
with girl snake.
That's not
eggs appear.
Eggs appear.
It sucks when you're on the other side, don't it?
Yes, it does. It's annoying shit. Trying to figure this out. I need to tick a box here.
I've forgotten how I just, do my thing, but I wrote it all down in this nice little form called the book.
Yeah.
You can
he
read
said he
all
had
that.
it. I don't know.
Son
I'm
of a
starting
bitch,
to wonder.
I do have that one. I should probably look at that. Yeah.
Just if you're curious.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but there's nothing, no, I mean, there's probably better feelings, but that's such a great feeling when you put a pinky mouse on tongs and a pygmy python just launches and grabs it very aggressively and eats it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a beautiful thing.
Hell yeah.
Now, if I could just get my Western blackhead that I hatched out last year to eat, that thing still is just like vehemently, no, I will eat nothing.
Wow.
They are.
I've been assist feeding my Arizona Mountain King baby.
Mm-hmm.
The one baby that hatched, I've been assist feeding her since she hatched, mouse tails, and I cannot get her to do anything else. And I'm like, I hate you. Like, I don't like you anymore.
I guess I've just accepted it. Like, but children's, like all my children's ate except maybe one, I had to assist one like a couple times, but then like the children's and the spotteds the spotteds like come out of the egg wanting the pinky mouse, like they're bullet, they're ravenous. Really and the broom Western Stimsons are like the same way, like they just eat whatever you put in front of them, so yeah,
like Rob says with the rosy boas, where they're in those little rocky outcrops and they're just like, rah, rah,
yeah. I mean, the wee belts are a little bit more challenging, but the pygmies are definitely the most difficult. So I just like, it is what it is, and this is what I'm planning to do, and I'm setting aside this time to go and butcher mice.
Do you think that they'll ever get easier with the further along? It seems like, I don't know, children's, they've seemed to have gotten a little easier, I've heard people say.
I think it also depends. I know I heard Casey talk about this. He like had pygmies like the first time he produced them, and they all took pink mice like no problem. He's like, oh, these are easy. And then the next year, none of them wanted anything to do with the pink mouse from the same pairing and everything. So I think sometimes you'll get lucky. And like I had one pygmy that just like took right off the bat. I think the second, offering, and it took a pink mouse and never looked back. And it's beautiful, really nice pygmy python. Nice. And so yeah, it just depends on, the mood or whatever. I don't know
what I got going on. Yeah,
the moon.
The moon phase of the
moon cycles. Yes,
when you offer, how you offer.
Yes. What about you, Rob?
I appreciate that at episode 600 we had a call back to when Nick was on after you first got your first IJ clutch, Eric, and he said, well, basically anyone could breed IJs. Not to denigrate your accomplishment, but
just stick the knife and twist it into some other people. Yeah, I know. But
oh wait, I do have to say something real quick. Oh, Rob or Owen, maybe you can help me, but somehow I don't think you're going to be able to. I made a very stupid mistake, and I just realized this when I put up Wayne Lark's interview. I don't know the order. I know that was not next. I don't know, like the way it's saved on my computer, it's like there's no way to tell which one was next. So I'm like, oh shit.
You think that I would know?
I thought
like that's not at all. Like I would know. No.
Yeah, I think we can get you there. Well, I got a couple ideas. We can figure it out. So.
Yeah, I thought Rob would know.
Rob would. Owen.
Well, anyway, Rob, what about you breeding? Were you breeding anything? What are you breeding?
All my stuff is spring breeders. So nothing, nothing.
No, I know that, but like,
yeah, should have rhinos, Puerto Rican boas, possibly Jamaican boas. So that's a little bit interesting. So I've had them. They're strongly biannual breeders, but last year was the first year that the Jamaicans didn't go on their regular schedule. So I'm actually super curious whether that just means that it becomes sort of 3 years, it becomes a 3-year window on that, or whether she'll cycle in this, what would have been the off year, had she gone last year. So I'm curious to see that. I don't know for certain what'll happen from that. I don't know what to expect. So
I wonder if you'll have a larger litter if she ends up cycling than you would normally because she didn't do anything last year.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. So maybe we'll see, but nothing yet.
Cool. I'm down the rabbit hole of boas big time. I'm like down that hard.
Yeah, and you've had some interesting conversations around it recently, which has been good. Yeah. So no, I certainly appreciate that. Appreciate the content being out there. I will say that we'll have to supplement your group of gelatins at some point here, right? I have them ready to go. Yeah. Once it gets going. I think you'll really like. Man, those are crazy looking snakes for sure.
Once it's above like 2 degrees.
Is it bad over by you?
Oh my God!
We've been single digits.
We have like a foot of snow for like a month.
It won't go away.
It won't go away.
Yeah. No.
Send some our way. We got nothing out here.
Holy shit!
I could mow my lawn if I wanted to.
No,
I've been cycling mails through because we keep getting down to single digits at night, and then like Eric said, we had a couple crazy snowstorms, and
it doesn't melt for you guys like it does here.
No, I mean
it can snow 8 inches and still.
And those solar panels on my freaking house, and I'm like tracking them, and they're like nothing. We can't. There's nothing. I got it.
Yeah,
still there. So
I can't take much more. I'm in that seasonal depression thing where it's just like, oh my God, I want to see the sun. I don't see the sun going to work, coming home from work. It's like I
hate leaving before the sun and after it's coming
terrible.
After. Yeah, it's getting better. The sun is starting to stay up later and
slowly but surely. Yeah,
and it doesn't help that everything is frozen solid. It's just like
anything that melts refreezes overnight. So it's just.
Yeah, I
on top of snow. Yeah,
I thought the other night I had to actually, I turn off all the heat when regardless of what's going on, all the heat turns off at night. But I had to go in and change that because I went down and it got that my main snake room got down to, I think it was 62, which is not it's not crazy, but that's like going into a territory in that room that's never been. And I'm like, oh shit. And I had just fed the night before and I was like, oh no, I'm dreading that smell that you smell when I come home from work. But luckily everything was cool. So,
oh man,
I was going to say, man, you'll be shocked by how resilient they are. I mean, maybe last week my room was, I think 58, something like that.
I had a rack where the heat was off and I was like, what's going on? So I look back and I look at the plug and the thermostat is black. There's a hole in it and it burned out and could have started a fire. I dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Pretty creepy. So, and it was the thermostat actually failed. And so, scared me to death. So yeah.
If I have success with my scrubs this year, it's going to be because they did it to themselves, not because I did.
Right.
The male unplugged the heat panel, and I did not notice for about a week. And I think I got a lock, and I'm like, okay. So if I have success next year, they're not going to have a fun year because it's going to be like, well, all right. It's
the olive pythons. He takes them to 50. I'm like, wait, I don't think it gets 50 where they
and yet eggs. So explain it to me.
I don't know, dude. You got it right. I don't know. I'm just saying,
I mean, it does get down to freezing in the Kimberley, which is kind of contraindicated, but you wouldn't expect that. Intuitive.
The olive pythons are out in the room that apparently when they were building my house, they decided that they didn't need to have any insulation on the back wall that faces that is outside.
Yeah.
And that door just lets in such a hellish draft that everybody's cages in that room were down to 58 at one point this past couple weeks. And now I've bumped up the heat a little bit and it's gotten a little bit warmer. The olives are hanging with each other. The white lips are hanging with each other. And the only ones that are kind of separate are the false water cobra, because I just don't think they care. The Timors are doing the same thing. They're all together. So I'm like,
Nice.
don't know if this is a good thing, but the plan is warm everybody up and feed the Indo species hard. Like birds are coming back to the island, let everybody kind of gorge. And then that's when people have told me they've had success with Timor. So we'll do that. And then everything else is just I'm throwing Jello at the wall and seeing what sticks. So far, things have been sticking.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can breed carpet pythons this year. I only got like a clutch of carpets last year. I'm a failure. So I need like 5. So let's do that and I'll feel better. So
my
has to be poplins.
Inlands from last year looking phenomenal. I was looking at those last night. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they look really good. Really blue.
My het granite girl had a shed today. So she just peeled. She does not look huge, but she does
send a picture.
Shut up. She's just send a picture. Belly scales. I'm thinking like if she lays, there's gonna be like 2 eggs in there.
Just
and I'm
gonna
be like, it still counts, right? It
sure it counts. Yeah.
So. Well, again with the callback, Eric and his single egg, right?
Exactly. Yep, that's right. Citrus Tiger single egg.
There it is. Yep.
Counts.
So
I still have that little Citrus Tiger too. All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. And
good times.
Yeah.
Congratulations, 600 episodes. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a long time.
Very long time.
I was looking at it yesterday.
A lot of dedication.
It's a long time.
I had less gray hair and stress and other things when we started this. Very foolish.
I'm like 165. That's weak sauce, man. You got to start going 4 a week. Yeah, 4 episodes a week.
I want 2 episodes recorded
no
in a day.
time. Yes. It would still take how many years to get you?
Yeah,
that would only be 200 a year. 4 a week.
And we don't stop, so it's not like that you're climbing, but we're still moving ahead.
I mean, we'd eventually surpass you if we did.
Eventually, I mean, we can't do this forever.
It would take a few years.
Yeah,
yeah. Wow.
What do we say, Owen? 20 years
more,
and then we're out.
20 years and then you're
leave.
Yeah.
Once we got Joe Rogan number podcast, then we're out.
There you go.
Then you let me be.
662.
Yeah.
No, as soon as you bring on the anti-vaxxers, I'm out though.
That is how they get the microchips into you, though.
Yeah, that's our plan.
I knew it.
We want to track everybody because there's not a more convenient method of a computer that everybody carries in their pocket.
Carries in their pocket. And
damn you and your science and your common sense.
Almost like a book of face of something like that. But I don't know. Anyway.
Good times.
So, yeah. I guess if nobody's got anything else, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for 600 episodes, and we'll catch everybody next time for some more Morelia Python Radio. Good night.